To go. It's wrong. All right, calling the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Tonight is September 11th, 2024, Planning and Zoning. We got a few agenda items and one public meeting, so we're gonna go ahead and start plugging through the agenda items first. I guess the first is up to any citizen comments, any citizen that wants to come forward, hang on. And it can't be about the planning and it can't be about anything on the agenda tonight. We're
It
gonna
can't
be,
be about anything with citizen comments on the agenda is what I read.
It can't be anything about the public hearing
yes,
for tonight.
yes,
So this is not about the public hearing portion. No, I just have a statement I want to make.
okay, please come on up then. And you state your name and you got it, okay?
Gonna be an old bro at this soon. My name is Linda Glines. I live in Lewiston, Idaho on 22nd Street. I just wanted to make a statement, to be put on the record. That was all. It says, as you are aware, a group of us local residents were at the meeting last week to voice our opposition to the village. We mistakenly were under the impression that the meeting was just to allow parking changes. We did not understand that it was a vote on allowing the next step for the village to become a possible reality. We understand that not having that knowledge is a moot point at this time. That being said, I am addressing the commission tonight to make this statement a part of the public records. We have concerns about a commissioner's conflict of interest in discussing the project within the meeting, which could have led to the persuasion of other commissioners in their vote, and then also voting on the village project. Gabe Abakani has a long-term relationship with Michelle King and her projects. He was treasurer of the LC Valley Adult Resource Center, the ARC, and is a proponent who publicly supports the village project. Due to this involvement, we feel that he should have recused himself from the discussion and the vote on the village. Recusing himself could have changed the outcome of the discussions and the final vote. My questions are, legally, should he have declared his involvement and his support for and with Michelle King and her projects? And should he have recused himself from the proceedings involving the project?
Bring that forward. Anyone else about anything not related to tonight's public hearing? No? Okay, thank you. All right, beginning, item 3 is, approval of the August 28th, 2024 meeting minutes. Everybody get a chance to read through those. Yes,
I will make a motion that we, no, I can't.
not quite yet, please.
Okay.
Yes,
I do have a minor correction.
Okay.
The word moat in this case is M-O-A-T, not M-O-T-E, even though M-O-T-E is a valid word.
so is spelling.
It should be spelled M-O-A-T in this case.
Okay, on my part, I reached out by email the day we got them sent to us, and on page 8 of the something, when we voted, I don't remember exactly what it was, but when we voted, she had Gabe voting for Gabe, so I did point out that I don't think Gabe voted for Gabe.
No.
And oh, the ad hoc committee, when we were discussing, Gabe had departed by that time. We were
Yeah.
discussing those working with
Yes.
comprehensive plan. There we go. So
Comprehensive
that was the one I had brought forward, and now we're on record that we've already had that discussion. So any others?
On page 5, I think that it was me who asked what would happen if a couple had a child. If they would be able to stay in the same cottage, or was that you? Okay, I know that I had asked about children and that, so that's fine. If that was you, I just couldn't remember.
It was
if you-
phrased a little.
Okay,
It was a long meeting.
yes,
Madam Chair,
Yes.
it was Commissioner Gable. I went back. watched the
okay.
video. But thank you. I appreciate it.
I was like, I know I asked about children,
You did, yes.
so.
Okay, so I would be open to a motion to approve the minutes
With corrections. I so moved.
second.
And I will second that.
Thank you. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Pass with the necessary alterations. Thank you. So next we have approval of the reason statement of relevant criteria and standards on conditional use permit application CUP 24-3 for a transitional housing village. This is an action item.
Would we be able to take a recess before we move forward on that? So I
If you
talk
need a,
with,
yeah, absolutely.
Commissioner Caponi? Like 15 minutes maybe?
Right now?
Yeah.
Certainly, we'll be taking a 15-minute recess. So note the time. Back at 5:50. Yep. Look at you doing math.
Tell it time, do the math.
So back to tequila.
Okay, here we go. We're back on. All right, and let's see. We were at the approval of the reason statement for the last meeting, the transitional housing village. And again, for recap, Michelle King requests conditional use permit approval to establish a transitional housing village for young adults needing housing on approximately 0.5 acres in the light industrial M1 zoning district at 2207 East Main Street and the 2 adjacent tax parcels to the east and north. This application includes a request to allow some of the required parking that back out onto 22nd Street. Now, before I look for a motion to approve the reason statement. Where are we at?
I will address some of the comments related to the conflict of interest statement.
Okay.
Or allegation, I should say. So it's probably well known that the housing is an issue that's important to me. So I currently serve on the board of the LC Valley Adult Resource Center. We have currently rebranded to LC Valley Cares, and it is also true that on prior issues, I have worked with Michelle King on issues. However, LC Valley Cares as an organization has no financial stake or interest in this application. I have had no contact with Michelle King related to this application in any way. There's been prior analyses done on issues like this when I have served on the board of LC Valley Cares as well, and I don't believe there is a conflict of interest related here. However, I will say Wendy Geiger, who serves as LC Valley Cares board chair, she wrote a personal letter in support of the application, but there was no official action taken by LC Valley Cares as a board to officially support that application. So I do not believe there is a conflict of interest here.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Is this a time for any observations or further discussion on this?
I don't believe there's a motion yet to discuss anything related to it, but I don't believe, I mean, there's no discussion that would necessarily be needed concerning Gabe's statement.
As I had a thought when I was listening to the concerns of your influence. And no disrespect to you, Gabe, in any capacity. But I will say that the statements that Gabe brought forward as a commissioner, listening to the public hearing and the testimony were not, I didn't receive them as something that had the power to change my thoughts and feelings on it. Now, I cannot speak for the rest of the commission, but what I can say is I don't believe that the influence that you believe he brought to the table, I can speak on my part and know that I listened to the testimonies, and I do not believe, since the vote was across the boards, I believe in favor. I don't know how influenced the commission was specifically by Gabe's involvement, but what we brought forward, and again, not disrespecting your thoughts on that and your thoughts on his affiliation in any capacity. But I did want to say that, thank you for those concerns, but I can say from my space, I want everybody at the commission to have the opportunity to speak about how they feel about something on the commission before we vote, and that's, I believe, what Gabe was doing in his role as commissioner and not any other role. He's always been a firm advocate for helping those in the valley. That's well known, well documented. And barring any sin year full of craps, the commission, we do have an action on the table for a motion to revisit and approve the reason statement that was drafted out.
I would be willing to make the motion to approve the reason statement for CUP 24-3 as written.
I'll second it, Madam Chair.
Move a second on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
You did, thank you. Okay. And any opposition? None noted. Reason statement moves forward to city council.
No,
No,
it's final.
it is fine. Okay, but anything, there is still opportunity to appeal at the city council level. There we go. There we go. And not to, let me just say on some really heavy things, they're not opposed to thanking us and then just skittering it right out the door. So, because we've seen some rejections.
I get to see a copy of this statement, so we have a
The
copy of it.
changes. Did you bring that for everybody to read?
It's part of the public packet.
And they,
Well, I thought you made changes after the last two meetings and that's what you were approving. No?
no, they were as written from the meeting 2 weeks ago.
But they weren't written 2 weeks ago, they're written now.
They
It's a part
were,
of the public packet.
It is a packet, okay.
and you,
It's available online.
thank
Okay.
you, yes,
Thank you.
there we go. So definitely take your time to
Precious need to-
seek those out. Okay, thank you. Next item is a public hearing and subsequent deliberation and direction to staff regarding the reason statement of relevant criteria and standards on application ANX 24-2, CPA 24-3, and ZNC 24-3 by Cody Merrill. And we have a public hearing on this. We're gonna have a presentation by staff.
Well, they put all this stuff.
Okay, and anyway, so the public hearing process. We're gonna open it, staff presentation, applicant testimony, and testimony from the public will be read and spoken in person. And applicant will get to rebut, then we will close the public hearing. So moving forward, I'm going to open this particular public hearing on this application. All right, Katie, fire us up.
Do I have the power to share my screen or are you gonna do that?
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Here we go. Good evening, Commission. Katie Hollingshead, Assistant Planner. Application in front of you is called ANX for Annexation 24-2, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, which is CPA 24-3, and Zone Change Application ZNC 24-3. This is a proposed annexation of a county island and a rezone to the C3 Community Commercial Zone located at 1125 and 1127 Warner Avenue. There we go. Okay, so like usual, we're gonna look at some maps and then we're gonna look at some pictures and we're gonna talk about some stuff. So the subject property is outlined in black. This property is a county island. It is surrounded on all four sides by city property. Property currently contains 2 single-family dwellings and some accessory structures. The surrounding land uses include a city water tower and parking lot to the immediate east, Lewiston High School campus to the north, Ziggy's Building Supply to the immediate west, and a neighborhood of single-family residential to the south across Warner Avenue. Map number 2 has our zoning layer turned on, so you can see subject property again outlined in black. It does not have a color associated with it because it is currently in the county and has county zoning. The property is currently zoned F1 Farm under Nez Perce County and is located in this area of impact non-residential on the city's comprehensive plan future land use map. Adjacent properties to the east, so it's going to be this one right here. And then to the north, this one up here, and then to the west, these over here, all in the red color, are all currently zoned that C3 community commercial and have a future land use designation of neighborhood commercial. And then properties to the south, that's the green color at the bottom. This is that neighborhood, or residential neighborhood, I'm sorry, that is currently zoned R2A, which is our low density residential zone. And then the blue color that's over here, this is the future site of Community Park. This is our R3 residential zone. Moving on to some photos of the site itself. So the parcel is pretty big. It's almost 5 acres total in size. So I'm standing at the southeast corner of the subject property. I'm looking west down Warner Avenue. So you can see one of the single family dwellings is right here in front of me. Property already has sidewalk that adjoins sidewalk that was installed as part of the high school's project. This is the other corner, the southwest corner of the subject property. So I'm looking the opposite direction, east down Warner Avenue. We'll pivot again, still at that southwest corner of the property. So I'm looking northeast. So you can see the other single family dwelling right here. And then in the distance is that city water tower. Standing kind of in the middle of the property between 1125 and 1127, looking north. So you can see there's some outbuildings. One is being kind of taken down right now. There's another one here. Back here in the far north of the property, that's that Lewiston High School campus. So southwest corner, kind of just turn the other way. So looking west down Warner, Ziggy's Building Supply is over here. You can see their fence and the parking lot. Neighbor residential over here. Blue house there. Farther down is the VFW, that yellow building right there. And then across the street, like I said, single family dwellings to the south. This is across Warner, looking south. See 2 of the homes that are directly across the street. And then there is a walking trail that kind of follows around the perimeter of the property. So it is situated between the subject property, which is over here, kind of where the white is, and the city-owned property where that parking lot and water tower is. Future development of this includes some fitness courts and an additional little parking lot to serve those fitness courts. And then I kind of just made my way around the property on that walking trail. So I'm at the northeast corner now, looking southwest, and you can see Ziggy's Building Supply in the background, the large white building over here. And then pivoting a little bit, again, northeast corner of the subject property, I'm looking south, water tower's over here. There's the walking path. You can see the houses up here. Just open field is a majority of the property currently. And then walking further down the walking path, so I'm kind of in the middle of that northern boundary along the walking path. Just looking south on the subject property. So again, houses are over here, Ziggy's Building Supply over here. I'm standing on the sidewalk that adjoins the road that goes into high school. I am turned around, there's high school parking lot. And then looking forward, this is the Ziggy's Building Supply. It's adjacent to the subject property on that west side. So this is that northwest corner of the subject property, where it meets up with the Ziggy's, the storage yard that's in the back of that property. And then just pivoting a little bit northwest corner again, looking southeast. That's all over. You guys want the map while I talk or no?
It's on one.
Dawn, you can stop the screen
Yeah,
share.
it's through to the end.
No, if you just type in 120 in the pages.
No, I know, but I didn't know it was page 120 until you said so. Gee.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten that far.
Yeah, right.
Come on, children.
Sorry, Mom.
Okay, so for this particular application, it is an annexation. Like I said, this is currently a county island, completely surrounded by city property. So the request is for the annexation into city limits and being removed from the area of impact. Then updating the map, so that's at CPA, so the comprehensive map amendment, which would take it out of the area of impact and add it to city limits. And then the zone change, which is requesting it to be assigned the C3 commercial zone like its adjacent properties. So property is approximately 4.896 acres of land. Like I showed in the photos, it does have 2 single-family dwellings and some accessory structures currently located on it. But a majority of the subject property is vacant pasture land. As already mentioned, subject property is surrounded on all 4 sides by city property and is a county island. Surrounding uses include single-family dwellings to the south, Ziggy's Home Improvement Store and several mini storage building complexes, we'll call them, to the west, the Lewiston High School campus to the north, and the city of Lewiston owned property to the east, which currently houses that water storage facility and parking lot and a public restroom with future plans for fitness sports. In your the staff report you were provided, I did talk a lot about the comprehensive plan. So the subject property is designated on our future land use map as an area of impact non-residential. So there's 2 types of area of impact designations. One is non-residential and one is residential. So under the non-residential, that lists things such as retail, restaurant, personal service, office uses, flex office and warehouse, and industrial uses as the primary uses. Adjacent lands to the east and west also have the same future land use map designation. They do not have that particular one, the non-residential. They have a similar one, which is the neighborhood commercial. Neighborhood commercial is primarily intended for low to mid-intensity commercial services and also to provide a transition from more intense commercial or industrial uses to less intense and smaller scale uses rolling into residential areas. So you can see in the packet, you were provided the C3 zoning information, which lists all the uses that would be allowed. So that would be things such as auto, boat, recreational vehicle sales and service, car wash, a commercial entertainment facility, a daycare center, a drinking establishment, an eating establishment, a financial institution, mini storage, personal services, a preschool, professional and business offices, public or governmental offices, retail sales and service, a small animal hospital or a service station. So many of those uses specifically called out in that C3 zone also are reflected in that neighborhood commercial future land use. In your packet, you were provided what that future land use kind of entails, the uses that are allowed by right, the uses that are secondary or supportive, and then the uses that are not allowed. And it's in that funny little dot chart. Also from our comprehensive plan, we do speak quite a bit about area of impact and have called out different enclaves of county property within the city limits. There are a couple that are completely surrounded by city-owned property that are still a county designation. So this would be one of those. In our comprehensive plan, it does call out that these areas are appropriate for annexation into the city to ensure consistency of services and infrastructure. Covered that. And covered that. I guess finally, I would say, so part of that C3 zone, the purpose states that is to provide for development of commercial and service uses designed to serve community-wide needs, and that the provisions of this zone shall ensure compatibility of design with any adjacent residential development. The C3 zone has both special conditions for certain uses, such as mini storage. So those uses and the special conditions are above and beyond, kind of standard development or developmental standards. So they have to do extra things to make sure that that those uses are properly integrated into a neighborhood. So those are specifically for things such as mini storage, a small animal hospital or clinic, or commercial entertainment facility. And then it's just in general for their development standards that apply to all of their uses. They have things like minimum yard setbacks, screening requirements, so that can be site obscuring fencing or site obscuring plantings, arborvitaes, stuff like that. So there are additional caveats specific to that C3 zone that the adjacent properties to the east, west, and north fall into, that are designed to kind of provide an extra buffer between that particular commercial zone and residential's. Warner Avenue is designated as a collector road and has had recent improvements made to it as part of the installation of the high school campus. The subject property is not in a City of Lewiston bus route. Closest one is across Thane over at the Chevron station. There are already water and sewer lines located in Warner Avenue, which would provide easy access to those city services. So just like the comprehensive plan says, continuity of service. This applicant would not have to extend lines or push lines into areas that they don't already serve. And further annexation of the subject property will add it back to the city's property tax rolls, which allows for the property owner to help support the repair and maintenance of the transportation roadway that occupants of the subject property are already using as they enter and exit. Annexation of county enclaves is important, like I said, to provide continual and rational boundary of city limits. So you don't have those little islands that you're not quite sure what they are. And this particular, the requested annexation does comply with Idaho Code Title 50, Chapter 2, Section 50-222, Paren 5, as an annexation with consent. One thing to note, and for you guys to include in your recommendation when you do the deliberations. So Mr. Merrill is the applicant. The way that he is purchasing the property is through what's called a 1031 exchange. So the property is legally held by a 1031 exchange company until that exchange is completed. So we are working with that company to get their sign off on the applications as the secondary legal owner in addition to Mr. Merrill. I just wanted to note that for everybody, but we have been in lots of contact with them. Lots and lots of contact with them. So we're getting that kind of sorted and resolved. And other than that, I would stand for questions.
I just had a quick comment. Jennifer Tangano, City Attorney. I just want to make a quick note in your packet. There's a page in here that's at the top says Annexation Authority, State Idaho Code and Lewiston Annexation Policy. The Idaho Code section that's referenced is not the current section of Idaho Code. That has been repealed. The reference in the staff report on page 2 is the current Idaho Code section. So that's just a
Paste the wrong one from.
procedural note. It's the first page right after the applications. That top half is repealed, but in your staff report is the correct version.
Idaho Code needs to update their website because I recopied and pasted for that very reason.
Just a note. So don't rely on anything on that. Because we no longer have category A annexations, they're annexations with consent.
State changing all kinds of things.
Okay. Questions?
Kathy, you had your hand up.
Well, I was just, I know a 1031 exchange has time constraints. I imagine that they're well, but they will have plenty of time to get this done.
That is my understanding of that part of the reason it's being held is for this process to be completed. Which is why we are working with them to make sure that everything is signed for that consent portion.
Really, it's irrelevant
At this point.
yeah. Fine.
Anyone else? Are the houses inhabited?
They are not,
Can I ask a question?
they are not.
Okay, thank you. All right, Katie, thank you very much for that. So next is the testimony from the public. No, where we at?
Applicant.
Oh.
The applicant has sent
Just
a
left
representative.
right over, right? Just left right over. So, yeah. Applicant testimony or presentation. So if you would like to come forward. State your name, where you live, and let us have it.
My name is Nuri Nimmer. I'm with Hodge and Associates at 405 South Washington Street in Moscow, Idaho. And we are the engineering firm representing the applicant. And I don't have anything else to add at this point, but I'm certainly willing to take any questions and field those the best that I can.
Any questions? We are a quiet group today. Okay, all right, well, thank you, thank you. If something comes up, we'll call you back. All right, now we can have testimony from the public. So did you
Would that
want,
be me?
that would be
Okay.
you, if you would like to come forward.
Last but not least.
No, you're far from last. So come on out and state your name and where you live.
My name's Anna Hager, and I live at 1126 Warner. And I was wondering, can you tell me who my new neighbor is going to be? Anybody know for sure?
At this time, no, we do not. This is the hearing specifically about bringing, annexing the property. What is happening beyond that is.
So it hasn't been sold yet that you know of?
We can't speak to that at this time. I think that Katie,
So the applicant's name is Cody Merrill. Gentleman purchasing the property.
That's it then.
okay, I appreciate you coming. And I'm sure Dawn's got some more communication, public testimony. Okay.
Virginia James, 1128 Warner Ave. I am against zoning to commercial. South side of the Warner is all residential. Affects value of our homes and will increase the amount of traffic coming and out of the property. Change to C3 is taking residential property and changing it to commercial, which is not fair to the neighborhood. Carl Ziegler. Carl and Teresa Ziegler, the Zieglers, own the property to the west of 1125 and 1127 Warner Ave. Ziegler Lumber Company, Ziggy's, leased the property from the Zieglers at 1109 Warner Ave. Ziggy's has operated in Lewiston since May of 1981. Ziegler's built and leased the 1109 Warner Ave to Ziggy's in September of 1999, where Ziggy's continues to operate. Ziegler's and Ziggy's have no objection to Cody Merrill's application to be annexed into the Lewiston city limits. Sure, I didn't get any emails.
Thank you very much. This would be an opportunity, as the applicant representative to come forward and rebut anything that public testimony brought forward. You're not feeling it, okay. Thank you. And this would be a point in time. Perhaps opportunity see, no additional testimony. Right, so if we have any questions or any discussions before I close, this would be the time now. So we'll close and.
Yes, no, I was just wanting to reply to that letter that was against it about the transportation and the traffic. But it looks like it's been addressed. They've, in our analysis,
On the traffic analysis?
the traffic analysis, yeah, they've, improved that road.
All right, barring your further discussion, we will now close the public hearing and. Okey dokey, seems like fresh list of questions. So. Based on what we've learned tonight, Katie's presentation, the proposed rezone is or is not in general conformance with the Lewiston Comprehensive Plan. And just to note, this is the new comprehensive plan. We are no longer referencing the 1999, I believe.
Correct, all of the references provided in the staff report are from the new 2044 Envision Lewiston plan.
Mo,
I believe that the proposed rezone is in general conformance with the Lewiston Comprehensive Plan. As Katie pointed out in the staff report, all of the upgrades and stuff along that roadway have been made. There have been a lot of upgrades in the neighborhood. And having that property annexed in will provide that consistency of services and infrastructure.
Kathy?
Well, I'm just wondering if we could include the comprehensive plan, on page 112, part of 113 that Kate presented in our recent statement. That pretty well covers the comprehensive plan, in my opinion.
Which sections do you want me to include?
Page 112 and the one at the top of page 113. Up until the input from other departments. Where you've addressed the comprehensive plan.
Okay. You would like me to include all of that?
Well, I don't know why not. Kind of covers it all, doesn't it?
I just want to be clear what I'm gonna bring back to next. I'm totally fine with including all.
The reason statement that goes in front of city council. Excellent. Okay, Gabe?
No, I agree with Kathy and Mo. I will just add in terms of maybe solidifying a little bit what Kathy was getting with, or what Kathy was getting at. Is when it's specifically in the staff report and it mentions the comprehensive plan, it does say there are several enclaves of the AOA within areas of the city limits. It may be appropriate for these areas to be annexed or be annexed into the city to ensure consistency of services and infrastructure. So I think that's my main takeaway from how it applies to the comprehensive plan and fits.
Kevin?
I'll say is, and I have nothing more to add than.
Excellent. Shay?
Say that it is.
Saying it is, and ditto what Gabe's and said. as well.
All right, well, thanks to everyone, then we believe that it is in conformance. The subject property is or is not at least as well suited or is better suited for the proposed zoning district than the existing zoning district. Emily, let's start with you.
It is as well suited or better. It's right in the map referenced by the staff, the surrounding property that is immediately adjacent is all within the same zone that they're after. Seems like a comparable zone from what the county is. I recognize the comments from the one citizen who wrote in stating that the other property is residential, but there seems to be a clear division on Warner that separates the residential from the commercial.
Thank you. Shay?
Agree.
I will also say that it is at least as well suited or is better suited. Just kind of same as Emily. I do understand what the person that wrote in, their concerns. But again, seems to be that distinct zoning in that area, you have commercial and residential.
Thank you. Kevin?
I would agree it is.
I would agree that it is, and I agree with Shay that there's a clear delineation between where the residential is and where the commercial is. And that, I think, makes it well suited or better suited for the proposed rezone.
I think I agree it is. And because now it is farmland and has commercial on the west side. So it just makes sense that it be zoned commercial in my mind and included into the city rather than as part of a little county island.
Least as well suited, if not better suited, for the proposed zoning, and for the same reasons. I mean, it's surrounded on three sides by commercial zoning. It only makes sense for it to be, annexed in under that zoning.
Thank you. Proposed rezone does or does not present foreseen mitigable impacts of incompatible uses or development. Same vicinity. I'm gonna go ahead and lead off and say obviously it is flanked by all those very same structures in nature, so I think it does not. But Mo?
I would say it does not present any foreseen mitigable impacts. I believe I saw in the application that the intended plan is for it to be storage units, which are already, there's already similar properties being used in that exact same nature along Warner Avenue. So it actually, to me, appears to be a continuity of the commercial use that we're already seeing along Warner Avenue. And so I think everything has been addressed properly. Services are already right there in the street. The upgrades, including parking or sidewalk and access and stuff are already there. So I don't see it being a negative impact in any way, shape or form.
Kathy?
It's not a negative, and in fact, referencing page 113, the engineering is not opposed to the annexation. And the fire department didn't have any comments regarding the proposed annexation. And the road, as we read in, has also been approved.
Okay.
I'll just echo what Maureen and Kathy have said, and that it does not present foreseen immutable impacts of incompatible uses.
Excellent.
I'll agree with that.
Actually, it should be pretty low traffic, so. Yeah, if that's the intended purpose long term. Effects of the proposed rezone are or are not anticipated to place undue burden upon the delivery services provided by any political subdivision within the planning jurisdiction, including school districts. I feel it will place undue burden.
The opposite, in fact, the fact that there is not a bus route that is eligible for that location until you get across Thane. The fact that this is going to go from a, residential to a commercial then takes that school busing issue off the table, where that becomes a moot point.
Size, type, intensity, and density of the development expected to occur on the subject property as a result of this rezoning is or is not suitable for the area and will or will not unduly burden the neighborhood, public infrastructure, or environmental resources. Does anyone feel that it is not suitable or will unduly burden the neighborhood? I agree. So I believe that it is suitable and will unduly burden. believe that those are the 5 criteria that we were to review today.
Do you have any reasons for that last one?
Unduly, okay, so neighborhood, public infrastructure, environmental resources, in my opinion. Because anybody that's turning onto Warner going east and wants to address P1, Ziggy's, or even further down the high school, that traffic's already there. And they are all potentially high volume. Whereas the proposed use and structure will be, I just can't imagine it being high volume.
Well, and in addition to that, you know, with the intended use, the intended commercial use, for the applicant being storage facilities, you're not looking at excessive, you know, water, sewer type infrastructure type things. So it's not gonna create an additional load on city services in that aspect.
And you're not gonna have a lot of use
No.
at any particular one time.
No, it's
or
not
one
like it's a
instance.
coffee shop where
Right,
cars are
yeah,
gonna be.
you're not gonna have 30 or 40 people going into a storage
Oh,
unit.
And if you are, you have the police come by.
So, right, yeah.
And the fact that
That's
it's,
even-
it's gonna be added to the city's property tax rolls, which will help with the maintenance of that property from the city taxes, fire, road maintenance.
I kind of like the idea of, most of the community, storage, specifically with the C3 expectations of landscaping. Low lights, signage, I think that, and secure, generally secure fencing will actually be not gonna be a draw,
No.
for, yes, Shay.
I'll also say that the services are already there, so it'll be easy to connect.
Like I said before too, with there being storage units literally just
Mhm.
up the road.
Yeah.
You know,
There might not be much for them to connect, to need to connect
Yeah.
to.
exactly.
Assuming a Vista and all other utilities are already existing there, it's not any city utilities that would be connected. They are there.
Happy, all right.
Okay, enough to go on there?
So we're winning. So, we've got a couple of, where's the? So. where's mine? We've got a couple motions. One's about the. Where we at? Oh, here we go. I think maybe possibly. All right. So first we will need a motion to, approve or deny, the annex 24-2. So I'm open.
So I will make a motion to recommend approval of ANX 24-2 to city council.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you. And following, do we have a motion to recommend approval or denial? What? Put it all together?
Sorry,
We need you to add a word.
yes.
Two.
Conditioned upon consent of the landowner.
Oh, yes, yes. And that's to revisit the, not the annexation.
For the
but
annexation.
For the
For the annexation. All right, so the exact terminology on the motion we've already voted on is, what's the wording you want added?
Would Maureen?
I would like to make a friendly amendment to my motion to include the language that it would be pursuant to the approval of the landowner.
Second.
No.
All right. And I don't believe that will change any votes, but do we need to revote? The motion?
Technicalities, yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed? Okay. Now the motion, open to motion to recommend approval or denial of the comprehensive plan.
Amendment.
Amendment, I have words, CPA 24-3.
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion.
Gabe,
I
second.
will second.
Thank you, Mo. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Okay, and then we are open to the motion to direct staff to draft the reason statement for ZNC 24-3, which is the zone. Applying the C3 zone to this property. So do we have a motion to draft the reason statement?
Madam Chair, also move.
Kevin, did you have, yeah?
I'll
Nope.
second it.
Okay, so all in favor of the motion to direct staff to draft the reason statement, approving ZNC 24-3. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you. So I think,
One more, correct?
no, that was it.
We
I
don't
mean, I
have
guess
to, we
at
don't
the
have
end.
to ask them to send the association area. City council.
No, because you still have to come back and approve the.
No, okay, we'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Holy cow.
So much confusion. I always thought that's just me. Okay, so we've got that business done. Congratulations. Still moving forward, but in the direction I think you're looking for. Okay. All right, so staff commission communications. Katie?
So just a query of commissioners to attend the September 25th meeting. We do have 2 public hearings planned for that night, a CUP and a zone change.
So Katie's telling you, bring some protein bars or
I
something.
am sad to say that I will 98% sure miss the next meeting and all of the associated fun.
They should both be fairly simple, but I would just
Yeah.
tell the commission it's gonna be a busy fall. We have lots of potential applications coming in, lots of people calling and touching us and checking in on things, so I think that you will have a busy fall.
Busier than normal.
It feels kind of like that way. If everything comes in that like has been like reaching out and like discussed, yeah, it feels like a lot of things are coming down the pipeline.
Just so you know, I have jury duty.
Okay.
I doubt I'll be seated.
But you'll be out by 5, like.
Unless they're deliberating.
Yeah, they.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, unless you're on the jury and then, okay.
Wow.
Okay, so
Fair,
Emily
fair.
is a no and Mo is a maybe.
No, I don't have jury duty till October 1st, so
Okay.
I'll be good for the next one.
And if something happens and I do not go to Meade for a career fair with high school students, then I will be here with.
Ooh, me.
Well, I think I'm taking the day off. I'm getting both dogs out to the groomer. It'll be a circus before I ever get here.
We can't say that.
My life, not saying this.
See Jeff looking at us like.
That's all I have.
Obviously. So, that's all she has. Okay. How about a motion to adjourn?
So
I will second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You guys. 2 meetings and you're promising light duty.
it really was.
Right?
I think the time for y'all to get together and ask me to step down was a little